She was disqualified for unsportsmanlike conduct and forced to leave the event, but now many are calling her a hero. Stephanie Turner was set to square off in a fencing competition against an opponent who competed in the men's category for Wagner College last fall, but now who identifies as transgender, competing in the female category. I spoke with Stephanie Turner earlier and asked her why she took a knee.
I guess let's just start right in the beginning. What prompted you to take a knee in that moment?
So the day for me really starts the night before. It's part of my pre-competition ritual to check the online registration to see what competitors I might be fencing against. When I register for these tournaments, I do so maybe like several months, couple to 4 months in advance sometimes. And in that time, a lot of people can register. They can even register at the last minute, though it would be like a fee. Part of the ritual is just looking at who's going to be there, what's my check-in time, and just getting in the mode for competition. And as I'm doing that, I see Redmond Sullivan's name right in the middle of the participants list, and I recognized it immediately because Redux had done an article on him previously, outing him as a transgender fencer who had been on the men's team for Wagner, but was now fencing on the women's team there. And then he's been fencing in the women's category within the USFA. So when I saw that, I honestly cried. I cried so much because I had spent quite a few months training specifically with this in mind. I haven't done a lot of tournaments in the lead up to this because for reasons related to the USFA restricting seniors tournaments. But I basically was focused very, very much so on this tournament. And this is a tournament I do every year and have done for maybe 10 years straight. And at one point, I even, in my early time of fencing, helped organize this tournament. So I look forward to this tournament every single year. So when I saw his name, I just was like, just disappointed. Like the air went out of my lungs, and I texted people I knew, like, this is happening. Wake up, people, it's there. And I just prayed about what I should do. I wasn't really sure. I had always had this thought that if ever something like this would happen, I would forfeit. And I had an idea of how I would forfeit, but I was always nervous about it because it creates a scene and it will obviously result in the black card. And that's what I did. So as I was praying, thinking, like, please God, if this man is in the tournament, if we come face to face, I will forfeit this tournament and I will take a knee. But there might be a chance that he and I don't ever face. So, and in that case, I'll just continue the tournament as normal because there's not much I can do. But it just so happened, because they randomized us for pools, that he ended up being in my pool. And from that point on, it was like, all right, let's go. I'm taking the knee. I don't want to participate in this anymore. I don't want to let people know that I'm okay with this or pretend like nothing's happening. So that's when I took the knee.
There was a moment from I watched the video, there was a moment where I'm not sure what you call him, the referee came over.
Yes.
What did you say to him? And then there was a moment when Redmond came over to you. And what did you say to him at that point?
So to the referee, I know that referee and he knows me for many years. He came up to me and asked me what was going on, and I said, I'm sorry, I cannot do this. I'm a woman, and this is a man, and this is a women's tournament, and men should not be in women's tournaments, and I refuse to fence. And then he walked away. The referee walked away to bout committee and to seek guidance from other referees and tournament organizers. And at that moment, Redmond comes up to me. I don't think he heard what I had said. It's very loud in a fencing tournament. And he came up to me and asked if I was okay, and I said, you know, I have a lot of love and respect for you as a person, and that's true. But you're a man, and I'm a woman. This is a women's tournament, and I will not fence you. And he says, okay. What was that?
What did Redmond say?
He said, well, okay, but you should know that a member from the board of directors is here, and he supports me, and there's a USFA policy that claims that I'm a woman and I'm allowed to fence, and you're going to get blackcarded. You know that? And I said, I know.
We got a statement from USA Fencing. It says USA Fencing responsibility is to ensure that all athletes, regardless of their personal positions, compete under the same rules established by our international federation. A fencer is not permitted to refuse to fence another properly entered fencer for any reason. We also know that they created a transgender policy in 2023.
Right.
And they also say we respect the viewpoints on all sides. The policy, referring to the transgender policy, I believe, was designed to expand access to the sport of fencing and create an inclusive, safe spaces. Was this matchup for you an inclusive, safe space?
No. When you're talking about including women and girls, you have to start thinking about rights, protection, and safety for women and girls, and that's going to result in excluding men and boys. You have to create exclusion to ensure inclusion for women and girls. When you're talking about safety and you're talking about harm and you're talking about the fact that women don't want to interact with this extremely controversial topic, a lot of times they just back down or they quit. It's not fair to me as someone who is born female. I have no choice in being a woman or not, and nobody has a choice in whether they're born male or female. And Redmond ultimately chose to be in the women's category. He has a place to go. He can go to the men's category. And on top of that, at local events, not at regional or national, but at local events, there are mixed categories. So he actually can fence perfectly fine in the men's or in a mixed local event. So I don't really have a place to go, but he does. I don't find it to be very inclusive of me.
A lot of people are talking about this, obviously, people on all sides of the political spectrum, but people who have a shared interest in women's sports. You know, Martina Navratilova said, how dare you, USA Fencing, throw women under the gender bullshit bus. Megyn Kelly called you a hero, a heroine. How is this for you personally? I mean, you're standing up on principle. I imagine it's not very easy.
Right. I mean, I'm not here for anything other than to resolve this policy. This policy is ridiculous, and it's forced me to refuse by taking a knee. I don't get the option to refuse this policy, right? So I mean, they don't give me any other avenue to refuse fencing when they enforce this policy. I'm here really mission focused on ending this transgender policy, making women's sports female exclusive, and from that on, I really don't care about whatever else in the media could happen to me. I mean, I just want this to be over with, and it should have been over with a very long time ago.
Is this political in any way for you?
It shouldn't be. To me, it's common sense and it's truth. You know, but unfortunately, there is one side of the aisle, I would say the Democratic aisle, that supports this. And I find that unfortunate because I am a registered Democrat, and I find it that this is probably people see this, and it's like a litmus test for whether you're willing to tell the truth or not for the advancement of your own political beliefs. And it doesn't shine a very positive, genuine light on the Democratic Party when they support this. But I'm trying to keep it not political, to be honest.
Okay.
It really shouldn't have to be. It should be common sense and truth and fact and logic. But unfortunately, it has taken a turn. And I will say that quite a few Democrats find this to be really silly as well. But many people haven't been able to find a means to speak up on this.
Have you been attacked at all?
No, I'm not online at all. I don't have any social media. I'll probably continue to not have social media. I don't even have LinkedIn, and I'm pretty much heads down on most things in my life, very private. So coming out against this it's not a grift, I'm a very solo, independent, almost reclusive person. There was no reason for me to come out against this other than my own personal principles.
Anything else that you'd like to say? Sorry?
Okay. I just hope that the USFA reconsiders this policy quickly. And I want to say this to Redmond specifically, is that I don't hate you. And I'm really sorry if the last 24 hours have been hard on him. He is only like 20 years old, and he's very young, and he's probably been caught up in this gender movement. And it's, more than likely that by the time he's 30 years old, this won't be something that's a part of his life anymore. I just want him to know that my gripe is with the USFA and with Damien LaFelt, with the USFA Board of Directors, and with this policy. And as much as I don't agree with him, Redmond, on being in my category, I don't want to see him as an individual attacked. And that's just from my own personal perspective on that.